Imagine sitting across from someone who knows you're lying before you've even opened your mouth. No polygraph, no torture, no threats, just a trained human mind reading every microexpression, every breath, every pause. Military interrogators are among the most psychologically sophisticated operators on the planet, and today we're going inside their world. Stay with me. Most people think interrogation is about breaking someone, inflicting pain, wearing them down until they talk. The reality is completely different. The most effective military interrogators in history rarely raised their voice. They didn't need to. According to research from the High-Value Detainee Interrogation Group, a joint initiative between the FBI, CIA, and U.S. Department of Defense, rapport-based interrogation techniques are significantly more effective than coercive ones. The reason is simple. Pain and fear activate the survival brain, and a survival brain tells you whatever it thinks will make the pain stop, not necessarily the truth. But a calm, trusting conversation, that activates the thinking brain, and the thinking brain reveals far more than fear ever could. So how do interrogators actually read people? It starts with something called a baseline. Before asking a single sensitive question, a skilled interrogator spends time establishing how a person behaves normally, how they sit, how they breathe, where their eyes go when they're relaxed, how long they pause before answering simple questions. This baseline becomes the reference point for everything that follows. When behavior deviates from the baseline, that's the signal. Not proof of lying, but a signal that something is happening internally. The deviation could be a microexpression, a fleeting facial movement lasting less than 1/5 of a second. Too fast for conscious control. These expressions were cataloged by psychologist Dr. Paul Ekman, who identified 7 universal emotions that every human face expresses the same way regardless of culture. Fear, anger, disgust, contempt, sadness, surprise, and happiness. A trained interrogator can spot these in real time and use them to navigate the conversation toward truth. There are several core techniques used by elite military interrogators. The first is called strategic use of evidence, or SU. Instead of revealing what they know upfront, interrogators hold back key pieces of information. They let the subject talk freely. And then, at a precise moment, they introduce one piece of evidence that contradicts the story. The subject's reaction in that moment reveals everything. The second technique is cognitive load. Lying is mentally exhausting. It requires maintaining a false version of events while simultaneously monitoring how the interrogator is reacting. When you increase the cognitive demand by asking someone to tell their story backwards, or while performing another task, liars struggle significantly more than truth tellers. The third is silence. Most people are deeply uncomfortable with silence. They rush to fill it. And in that rush, they reveal far more than they intended. Elite interrogators use silence as a weapon. They ask a question and then they wait, sometimes for minutes. The discomfort of silence does more work than any aggressive questioning. The most powerful tool an interrogator has is not a technique. It's a relationship. Research consistently shows that subjects provide more accurate and detailed information when they feel understood. When they feel the interrogator sees them as a human being, not just an enemy. This sounds counterintuitive. Why would an enemy combatant open up to the person interrogating them? Because human beings are wired for connection. Even in the most extreme circumstances, the need to be heard, understood, and respected is fundamental. Navy SEER instructors who train soldiers to resist interrogation report that the hardest technique to resist is not physical pressure. It's genuine human warmth. A skilled interrogator who treats a subject with respect, who listens, who shows curiosity rather than hostility, creates a psychological environment where resistance becomes psychologically costly. The subject begins to feel guilty about lying to someone who is treating them well. Here is what military interrogation reveals about all of us. We are far more transparent than we think. Our faces, our bodies, Our breathing, they tell the truth even when our words don't. We are far more social than we think. Even in adversarial situations, the need for human connection influences our behavior in ways we can't fully control. And we are far more susceptible to skilled communication than we think. A trained mind asking the right question at the right moment in the right way can navigate past our defenses more effectively than any amount of force. These skills aren't just for interrogators. The principles of reading people, building rapport, and using silence strategically apply to every negotiation, every difficult conversation, every relationship in your life. The battlefield is just where these skills are taken to their extreme. The most dangerous weapon in any interrogation room is not a threat. It's understanding. The ability to see past what someone says to what they mean, what they feel, what they're hiding is one of the most powerful psychological skills a human being can develop. Military interrogators spend years mastering it, and what they've discovered is that the truth is always there, written in the body, in the face, in the silence between words. You just have to know how to read it. If this changed how you see human psychology, subscribe, because we're just getting started.